Hello everyone, my name is Andrea Napoli and I'm Product Marketing Manager here at Cato Networks. In this webinar, we're going to talk about how SASE, that Gartner places on their top 6 technologies trend list, can have a significant impact on infrastructure and operations, and how it concerns every one of you. I'd like to start with a provocative question. Why should you change something if it's not broken? The old saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, applies to a lot of things in life, but certainly not to IT networks and security in the age of digital transformation. With so many changes in the way nowadays users connect to perform their work, in the way applications and data are deployed and distributed, standing still and try to face the new digital world with the legacy IT infrastructure is not the right approach. The risk is to see an increase of complexity, which ultimately leads to an increase of cost and loss of competitiveness. Which are the new requirements and what challenges are they carrying? Challenges that your peers are already facing, by the way. With more applications migrating to the cloud, companies are in desperate need to implement tools to monitor and manage application access and find a way to handle shadow IT. But when dealing with legacy networks, cloud provisioning and monitoring are challenging because they substantially lack native cloud connectivity and the means for enforcing policies on cloud services. As applications generate more traffic and users use more video and other data hogging media, MPLS cost will continue to contribute to a large portion of IT spend and will continue to grow in the future. MPLS, by the way, was never designed to deliver the direct-to-cloud performances which are required by SaaS application, which means that an alternative and more efficient connectivity method is required. Despite COVID-19 seems to be past us for now, people continue to spend more time working from home than they did before. Therefore, providing good performances and security to home users is a top priority and a challenging task when dealing with legacy infrastructure. And with such a sprawl of users, applications, and data, IT must deal with an expanded threat landscape. For example, access to applications and data demands a more restrictive access model based on real-time parameters such as location and device type. Delivering this kind of zero-trust protection model with a legacy data center-focused architecture is a problem. Global growing organizations are opening new offices and merging existing locations as a result of company acquisitions. IT is going to be under pressure to integrate these new locations and employees as quickly as possible. A legacy network infrastructure, when normally months are required to, for example, get MPLS circuits in place, and in some cases MPLS is not even an option, will hinder this process. Facing these new demands with a traditional or legacy IT approach means having to deal with the following challenges. How will your network accommodate the continuous growth of users and bandwidth? Network and security hardware appliances will reach the limit of users that they can support, requiring expensive appliance upgrades and replacements. The new applications and services you will be deploying in the next few years will require investment in new skills, training existing staff, or outsourcing to third parties. Customers are often looking at MSSP connectivity and security bundles to avoid the headache of building their own infrastructure. However, in most cases, these bundles are based on a combination of multiple point solutions wrapped around an MSSP monitor console. The result is a managed service which is rigid and slow to react to new challenges and demand. When you decide to undergo a network transformation, the time to reach an ROI is often very difficult to predict because you don't know all the associated cost of moving away from your legacy network. The only viable answer is to put a strategy that enables you to address future challenges without having to incur insignificant and unpredictable cost when changes will be needed. Why MPLS networks have become a mounting cost center over time? MPLS bandwidth costs have always contributed to a significant part of the IT budget, and with companies growing, they can reach unsustainable levels. In addition, the complexity of deploying, managing, and securing new MPLS sites can grow over time as you add new locations and workers. And as we have said before, MPLS is not a solution for serving cloud applications. It can be very expensive to be deployed in certain international locations, and clearly, it cannot address the connectivity needs of mobile and home users. In order to build an ROI for network transformation, we must analyze where your company sits with regards to your digital innovation projects. Let's take a look at this chart and why is it preferable to undertake a network transformation before you have actually kick-started your digital projects. In stage 1 of this graph, MPLS costs are still manageable. At this stage, moving away from your legacy MPLS requires an effort and cost which is similar to what you pay now. In stage 2, requirements about building new locations, support new applications, and adding new cloud services becomes more urgent because you are already undertaking your digital innovation journey. At this stage, your MPLS costs will increase rapidly because they need to cope with the new bandwidth demands, and as a consequence, you will need more staffing resources and time to manage the increased complexity of your network. That is why you clearly don't want to wait to be in stage 2 before starting your network transformation. For example, one study by Nemertes into an enterprise with more than 300 sites found that the company investment taken during the early stage of their digital innovation journey have produced about $1 million in savings from the second year and just under $1 million during the first year. So the time to implement and plan your network transformation is when things are still under control and not when you're busy putting out fires because the situation got out of hand. So how do you avoid becoming a stage 2 company? By starting implementing a strategy today that will prepare your network for digital transformation and make all the mentioned problems disappear. And remember that it's better to tackle these issues in a proactive way or during the next MPLS cycle or the next hardware firewall refresh. Why a SASE approach helps companies embracing the network transformation journey in stage 1? Because with SASE, Gartner has set the guidelines of how networking and security architecture shall be designed to address the new digital business requirements. And with SASE, companies can take a gradual approach without disrupting their IT infrastructure. Let's see why SASE is largely considered the best architecture approach to meet these requirements. For starters, it provides a global, distributed cloud-native architecture that allows secure access for all global users. No matter where the users are located, they will all have fast and secure access to all enterprise resources, including cloud apps and the internet. Next, it offers a broad range of converged capabilities delivered as a service and with a single-click activation. Networking and security functions including SD-WAN, next-generation firewall, IPS, CTNA, CASB, DLP, and others can be enabled gradually or all at once when required. Just flip a switch to turn them on. And thirdly, it provides an unmatched scalability and elasticity. Compared to appliances which have rigid scaling constraints and require configuration, procurement, and expensive upgrades, SASE automatically and dynamically delivers the required compute power when is needed. SASE clearly represents a radical shift in legacy IT strategy. However, at the same time, SASE allows to take a gradual approach in its implementation. Gradually implementing SASE means introducing services as legacy contracts expire or new demands arise. Many choose to terminate MPLS contract earlier to enjoy the full benefits of SASE architecture sooner. Embracing a SASE strategy today means basically future-proofing your network, because you have a clear migration path set with SASE, and you can now plan with peace of mind the migration of your legacy services whenever you need. For example, you could think of moving to SD-WAN at the next MPLS contract renewal, while at the same time keeping your existing firewall as they are, or do the reverse, move the security to the cloud and the next firewall hardware refresh, and then decide later to move to SD-WAN. we have the choice. Here is an example of a migration plan to SASE consisting in 5 steps. The first step is to introduce SASE with no changes to existing legacy services. Then in step 2, you could think about deploying SASE connectivity capabilities, such as SD-WAN. And then in step 3, deploy SASE security functions. In step 4, you could think about deploying SASE to optimize network access to cloud data centers. And finally, in step 5, migrate mobile and work-from-home users away from a legacy and obsolete VPN type of connections into the SASE cloud. Again, as discussed previously, these steps are fully interchangeable thanks to the flexibility of the SASE model. The priority of each step will be eventually dictated by your business priorities. Let's analyze what each of these steps means. In step 1, you want to introduce SASE with minimal disruption to your existing IT infrastructure. So you could think about deploying SASE SD-WAN devices that connect selected sites to MPLS and the Internet. Corporate applications will continue to move over MPLS, while Internet-bound traffic will go over SD-WAN or over an IPsec tunnel to reach SaaS applications via the SASE cloud. This step doesn't introduce any alteration to the rest of the network or other resources and can therefore coexist with your current MPLS infrastructure. In step 2, you could consider to deploy SASE to locations where MPLS is not available. That's why they were previously connected using IPsec VPNs, or because it is too expensive. Connecting these branches to the SASE cloud will improve performances to corporate and SaaS applications without impacting your budget. In step 3, you would then deploy the security functions you need, such as next-generation firewall, secure web gateway, IPS, anti-malware, and others. Again, SASE allows to activate them with a click of a button in a gradual way. No need to think about capacity bottlenecks, as SASE takes care of allocating the necessary capacity to run those services. The trigger moment could be when your existing appliances meet their end of life or scalability constraints, or when you need to provide easy and effective edge security for new branch offices. Now that all of your edges are connected to the SASE cloud, in step 4 you can leverage the SASE global backbone for optimized network access to cloud data centers and get rid of those expensive private connections such as ExpressRoute or Direct Connect. Corporate cloud applications can benefit from advanced routing rules that ensure that traffic travels continuously across an optimized network, rather than the less reliable internet or the expensive connectivity options I talked about. In some cases, SASE POPs are co-located within the same data center where the cloud service provider resides, and in which case users can benefit from a LAN-like connectivity experience. Finally, in step 5 is when you migrate your mobile and work-from-home users away from legacy and cumbersome VPN services into the SASE cloud so that they can benefit from optimized performances and secured access. This migration not only provides a better user experience, but it also reduces cost and complexity by eliminating all the central VPN services that often require server purchases and upgrades. You would agree with me that the new shiny SASE network looks much clearer and neat now. Bringing new locations gradually into SASE is quick and effortless. This is the migration experience of one of our customers. They say that they were able to set up new sites and VPN users in minutes or hours, and that Cato SASE provides the agility to adjust the network, the bandwidth, and the traffic prioritization easily as they migrate step by step to the cloud. I'd like to reiterate again the key message here. Start planning your one transformation strategy at the time where your digital business initiatives are about to start. Whether via testing, a partial installation, or a complete transition, SASE allows for a gradual approach. And with SASE, you have your insurance for the future of your digital business. If you wait, you'll continue to suffer from higher complexity and operational cost. MPLS costs will go up to the roof. You won't be able to free up budgets to allocate in digital transformation projects. Your IT support will continue to suffer as network and security complexity increases. You'll struggle to achieve the network agility to meet the digital transformation demands. and with the results that the ROI of your digital transformation journey will be both lower and longer to achieve. And so how do you justify your SASE transition inside your organization? In the end, it all boils down to demonstrating tangible reductions in complexity and cost. A gradual approach allows to grow the deployment as soon as legacy contracts gradually expire or new digital demands arise. We also see organizations starting to terminate their MPLS contracts sooner to enjoy the benefits and cost saving that SASE provides. Let's take a look at some numbers now. This table shows the cost comparison of a WAN and security setup for an organization before and after deploying Cato SASE. The company had offices running MPLS and VPN connections for users, locations, and cloud applications. The table shows how a simple SASE solution slashed complexity down to two components, SASE and reverse proxy, that the company was using to publish internal website and services. The total annual cost for this investment is around $490,000. Cato replaced the WAN connectivity and optimization, the next generation firewall, IPS, secure web gateway, MDR, and anti-malware in the cloud for each location and client. It also replaces all those VPN services with a single zero trust network access solution, providing secure access to applications for remote mobile users and home users worldwide, including China, and direct optimized access to applications in the cloud. As we discussed before, the initial service costs associated to the SASE transition are similar to the budget allocated on the current solution. But if we now look at the hardware cost, since there is no hardware involved in SASE, the transition to SASE has produced an immediate direct cost saving benefit. But there is more. By moving from on-premise appliances to a cloud-native solution, procurement, management, and maintenance costs are dramatically reduced as well. Team members are freed to focus on business needs and outcomes instead of maintenance and support. So in conclusion, building an ROI model for SASE allows IT leaders to justify the transition at the right moment to a more sustainable architecture before it's too late. I'd like to close by showing you a customer use case. Olot, a global manufacturer of lifting equipment with 6 plants and 30 locations across Western Europe, North America, South America, Africa, and the Asia Pacific, cut its network and security costs in half by switching from MPLS to Cato SASE. And during the COVID-19 crisis, it was also possible to use the Cato SASE platform to transition very quickly 300 staff members to work from home in less than a day. As you can see on the right-hand side, Olot CIO words speak for themselves about the simplicity and automation that SASE delivers. With that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. I hope I was able to provide useful information that will help you in your decisions regarding your network and security transformation strategy.